Hi, good day everyone. Welcome to Learning with Sonwa, where we take one thought, one concept, one idea at a time. We look at this idea in English. We see what the Xhosa translation is of this one word, one concept. And also I invite you to please translate it for me, this one word in German. Please write it in German for me. My name is Sonwa and this is episode 1. So today's word is judging, judge or to judge. And it's meant in the sense of to judge something, someone, an idea or a place or anything, really, without having fully engaged with it. Like making these assumptions, preconceived ideas that are not necessarily true about something or a place or someone or an idea or a place or anything that you can think of. So to judge something beforehand or without having engaged with it. Judging or to judge. Now, an isiXhosa word for that would be, an equivalent would be Ukucingela, like Ukucingela. And now if we take that word Ukucingela and we unpack its meaning in isiXhosa, it's like to think for others or to think for something else. In the sense that you are not allowing that person to fully express themselves and tell you who they are, but you are thinking for them that you are this way and therefore. I think so. I hope I've done justice in terms of like explaining Ukucingela, to think for. Now, Ukucingela, please say that with me. Uku, 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 cingela, to the front of the tongue, ngela. So, ukucingela would be the Xhosa word for that. Now, here's also the very exciting part. Please give me this word, to judge or judging, to judge something. This German word for that. What is the German word for that? What is that word? Please write it in the comment section below. Tell me what that word is. Write it for me, and really what you think about today's topic, and also after what we're gonna unpack and sort of talk about what I'm gonna talk about in the following few minutes. Well, I shouldn't be laughing. There's a siren going outside. I live in Cape Town in Fishhook, and I learned, well, there are different types of sirens. The police siren sounds different to the ambulance siren, and the firefighter siren also sounds different. Who else runs a siren? A blue light motorcade of presidential people might make a sound. Am I right? Which will also sound different. But the first three that I mentioned, an ambulance, police and firefighters, obviously indicates that there's an emergency somewhere. So I really hope that it's not something serious. I digressed. Back to our topic. Of the day here in Learning with Sonwa. So, Ukucingela, to judge people, to judge others, to judge things, to judge ideas, to judge music, to judge places, to judge languages, to judge, without fully understanding what they are all about. Now, a person can judge and then find that there are others who have the same ideas as they do, and then a community of judging, a community can grow like that, where people have this sort of togetherness because they have this certain idea about a certain place or certain groups of people, and therefore they have this idea about them. So a community can form around that. Now, there is nothing wrong with communities forming, but there's a challenge And the results can be dire if communities form with ideas about others and other communities without fully knowing them. And those things can result in terrible things in some instances, because there's exclusion. There are a whole host of things that may happen, you know, when judgments about others, about other things are made without fully understanding them. So that's our theme today. That's what I'm trying to get to. Please also in the comment section below, let us know what you think about this idea of judging without. Have you found yourself in a situation where you either judged someone, or you had this preconceived idea about someone or a group of people, and you met a person from that group, and your previous thinking was completely turned upside down, because now you were getting to know this person. Maybe you shared a room in a res, maybe you met in a church, maybe you started a conversation in a restaurant, maybe you met at the beach, and you started talking, maybe you met at the airport, maybe you met anywhere in a shopping mall, you know, and you started talking to somebody who is from a group of people, or from a place, or who dresses a certain way, and your preconceived ideas, your assumptions about this person were completely turned upside down, and you found that you were completely wrong. You know, has that happened to you? And what did you learn? What did you learn from that? I think also that's what I would be interested in hearing. Like, what did you learn from that? Now, I'm not saying this to say that there are no differences in the world. Between people, of course, there's diversity. I think that's what makes me excited about life, really. It's the diversity out there. It's the diversity around me. It's the diversity even within my own family, the diversity. You know, it's in the diversity even in my preferences of what I eat, of what I drink, and what I put in my body. Like, it's that diversity, you know, that you know, those different choices really make life exciting for me. The people that I meet, if I go on a bus, I go on a train, I hop on a train in Cape Town, and I see different people, and I hear different languages. I think that makes me at least somewhat excited about life, that there is that diversity. So but I wasn't always like this. I've had to learn along the way, in terms of like, because at one point I did find myself having thoughts of like, if a person is from a certain place, they're gonna speak, or they're gonna be loud because they're all from, you know, they're all loud because they're from this certain place, or they're all whatever because they're from that or whatever. So I had this unknowing, this judging, you know. So that's why I'm very curious about this topic as well, in terms of like opening it further and talking about it, like what you know, in terms of looking at differences, different languages, different traditions, different customs, you know. So to see those differences and to embrace that diversity is something that I've had to learn along the way. Also, one could argue that maybe as a child, in my innocence, I was open to those things, and I was curious about learning about these different things. But maybe as time went, they then started talking, started listening, started hearing. Based on what I was hearing around me, I was forming my own identity. I was being socialized into a certain kind of person, a certain person, and maybe even a sponge. While developing my own identity, I was also taking in things that were around me. That's why it's very important to stop and pause and have conversations like this, where we say, okay, what do we think about certain things? What do we think about, you know, are there assumptions that we are perhaps making unknowingly? Are there judgments that we are making unknowingly? And how do we know if we are doing something or not? I think it's also partly through conversation, through having these types of conversations, so that we know, are we being biased? Without knowing that we're being biased. I'll give an example, maybe at school. If a teacher is biased, if a teacher is judging, unknowingly so, is judging a person or a student based on what they know about that particular culture, it could be detrimental to the career, to the results of a student who comes from that place that the teacher is judgmental about. So it's very important to sort of like come back to ourselves in terms of like, and then have these conversations. But please share what you're thinking below. Were you judged at one point? And people thought that maybe you look a certain way, you should have a lot of money, or you dress a certain way, you have a lot of money, or you speak a certain way, you are from this area, or you look a certain way, then you should sound like this, or like what? Have you been judged, or have you been judged before, and how did you manage that? How did you handle that? How did you learn? What did you learn from that whole experience? Please, if you can share. Without mentioning people's names. That was the school example that I just spoke about. Now imagine a court. I'm no law expert by any measure, but my idea of a court really is that the judge will be presented with information from the complainant and from the defendant, and the judge is supposed to make a fair trial, a fair assessment of what he has heard, or what he or she has heard, or what they've heard, and then say, based on the information on what's been presented before me, I judge as follows. Now, having thoroughly ventilated and thought about what's been presented before them, then they say, okay, I judge in a certain way. This is my ruling. Now imagine if that judge did not have this conversation that we are having here, did not even anywhere have this conversation that we are having here. I do not know what is in the curriculum of lawyers and people who are preparing and getting ready to become judges. But imagine if that judge didn't have this kind of conversation or this kind of thinking. What that would look like. So yeah, it's judging without understanding really can cause division between people, misunderstandings, and those quick assumptions can be dangerous without knowing the full story. Those labels that are not true, the stereotypes about certain people, about certain areas, about certain things, about gender, about sexualities, about really different things. So without understanding fully where things come from. So yeah, I think then it could lead to excluding people, and so I'm keen to hear from you what you think about this conversation in terms of like judging. But also please share with me what in your language, in German, what is it judging, to judge something or someone, to have this preconceived idea about something, what is it in German, what is it in your language? Please let us know in the comment section below. And also please do subscribe to our channel to keep us going, so that we can keep going and bring you content like this. We've got other ideas and other thoughts that we want to bring to the fore. And also please do make suggestions of topics that you'd like us to cover. We're more than happy to do that. And also I encourage you to use the cell phone number provided in the description below to send your thoughts. If there's something that you want to engage with directly with me, please do that using the cell phone number provided below. This has been Learning with Sonwa, and I'm looking forward to see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh, judging in isiXhosa, Ukucingela. Please give that to me in German. What is to judge in German? Thanks. Bye-bye.